Welcome to Real Talks with Pinks. Thank you for the love we've been receiving. Everyone who subscribed, thank you so much. I know last time we had a really sad video about GBV, but we aim to raise awareness on authentic conversation in this show. So today we're going to talk about mental health, and I have a really special guest with me, Nthati Phakoe. Nthati Phakoe, can you please introduce yourselves to our guests, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you for having me on your show. On your program. My name is Nthati Phakoe, as she's already mentioned, and I'm an ambassador for mental health.
Oh, I like it, an ambassador for mental health. Okay, so start us off. Can you run us through your mental health journey? How did you know you have a mental illness? And if you can, I know you're not a professional in the field, but I just want you to explain what's the difference between mental health and mental illness.
Okay, thank you for highlighting that I'm not a professional. So in the event that whatever I say could be misleading or misinterpreted or misconstrued somehow, then I'd like for you to know that it's coming from my personal interpretation. Mental health is general. That is it's a generic term for how you take care of your mentals. Same what you could say financial health is how your finances are doing and how the upkeep of. Mental health is it's basically that if your brain is in the right space, if your psyche is in the right space, that is mental health. Everyone has mental health. Now, when this mental health is not taken care of, or there is instances or situations that have altered it, then you can have a mental illness. Yes.
Okay.
That's the difference. Mental health is the general well-being of your mentals. Now, when there's a problem with your mentals, then you get a mental illness.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, I hear what's the difference. So can you tell us what was your diagnosis and how did you know that you have a mental illness? Were there any warning signs that you had?
My diagnosis is bipolar mood disorder, frontal lobe epilepsy, and acute depression. It's a cocktail of very upsetting things, but yes, you learn to live with them. So I discovered, actually, my parents and them discovered pretty late what it was. The warning signs were there was bouts of aggression, unnecessary aggression. There would be moments when I'm very happy. It could be accelerated 1,000%, 700,000%, and then I could quickly move from that to being extremely upset. A normal person, let's say, maybe would take it's a process for you to move from being happy to being upset. Say maybe you're happy to your graduation day and you find out that your best friend has just betrayed you. For other people, it would move slowly. Oh, did this happen? Or what am I going to do about it? But with someone with bipolar, it moves from, yay, I'm happy to what? Yes, that flow, it moves, they say what, exponentially. So I had those traits growing up and behaviors like that. Mostly it was self-harm. I would feel better if I put myself on the door and bang it against my knuckles, if I pulled my hair out, if I chewed the inner lining of my cheeks, if I bumped into, just normal things and self-harm and self-punishment, if I could call that, stemming from self-loathe. Until it got to a point where, okay, initially they would blame it on hereditary issues, and things like that. And I think it's the biggest mistake that society and us, our parents and our siblings make, is that whenever there's a problem, they want to link it to some, even that person then still had a problem, but nobody did anything about it. Until it got to a point where I don't remember much. I woke up in hospital, a psychiatric ward, and was getting treatment for I did not know what. They ran a couple of tests. I think it's an EEG or ECG scan. They deprive you of sleep so that your brain synapses are active throughout for a whole 24 hours. So they get them when the spikes are where they need them to be. Then they run the tests and come up with a diagnosis. So that's basically how we discovered that there's a mental problem. It's not a personality issue or deaf or spoiled as people would like to put it. Yes.
So tell us about there's this myth, or because we want to debunk that myth that people must not drink pills or see psychiatrists or get help, because we encourage more people to seek help when they have a mental illness. So can you say, so with your diagnosis, do you take any medication, and what happens in instances where you leave your medication, and can you encourage more people suffering from mental illnesses to see a therapist?
Yes, I would encourage people to see a therapist. I gave an example one time when we spoke about a car. When your car has issues, you don't wait for the issue to sort itself out or for time to fix it. When your car starts cranking and there's noises it's making that are not normal for a car, you take it to go see a mechanic. When your roof is falling, you call somebody to come fix the house. So on the same note, if there's something wrong with you're not feeling right, you're not feeling as you should be feeling, I suggest that you go seek help. I know in our societies, amongst our friends and everybody else, it's always how boo, we find someone to speak with and things like that. Usually you don't even know what you want to speak about, but your psychologist or your psychiatrist will be able to pinpoint to the right things, the right questions to ask you, so you can dig out into your You asked about medication. I initially, after my diagnosis, after my first stint at the psychiatric ward, they gave me medication and they put me under observation for, I think, 2 weeks to see if I was, because what the medication does, for those of you that have taken it and left it because you're feeling all sorts of funky, you're feeling either very lethargic or you're feeling hyperactive or you're having palpitations, these are the side effects that come at the beginning of taking medication. But as the process goes and you get used to it. So I would take my medication like flu medication. When I feel I'm not going to be fine, I feel an episode, come and take my medication. After all is sorted, then I'd leave my medication. I would relapse. Once I've relapsed, then I go back to my medication until the doctors pointed out to me, okay, I keep making the situation worse because you're walking on a broken leg. It gets better, you stop. What's my heart? I keep hurting myself. So the more you take medication and leave it, eventually we know with antibiotics that you end up building resistance. So yes, I would advise that you take medication. Had I known that medication would help the way it has, I would have taken it a long time ago and been faithful to it. I had to wait for my second relapse, which was very bad. I was declared clinically psychotic, which is gilakashana, for a period of 6 weeks. I have no recollection whatsoever of what happened. I've lost 6 weeks of my life that I can never reclaim. So yes, if there's anyone out there that's thinking of stopping their medication or not taking medication, it doesn't make sense. When you have a cold, you take medication.
Yes.
When you have period pains, you take medication. For every single ailment, you take medication. So why not for your brain? And that time your brain runs everything. It tells your body to run. It tells you to sleep. It tells you to... Why would you want to stop your engine from working?
Thank you so much for sharing your journey. As we come to a closure, what would you say to families, friends, anyone, colleagues that have friends or colleagues that have mental illnesses? How do we support our friends and our family members that are suffering from any type of mental illness?
First of all, I would like to point out to the sufferer that with your condition, the more it goes unattended, the more toxic you are. Because your behavior your illness doesn't only affect you, but those around you. When you have these mood swings, they spill onto others. When you have irritations, you irritate people next to you. So eventually you bleed onto your very support structure, your circle. So the sooner you take care of yourself, the better and the less toxic you are to yourself and to others. And then also to family members and friends of those living with a mental disorder. I would like to tell you, it is not their fault. They didn't call this upon themselves. No, they will not snap out of it. No, it won't go away and they won't get over it. Seek medical help. Give them the support that they need. Love them. They want to be as normal as possible. Take a medication. See a psychologist. I can never stress this enough. It's the only way that I know how. So I guess that's Nthati, yes.
Nthati, see a psychologist.
Do other things, jog, read your Bible, meditate, take care of yourself. I can't stress it enough, especially because Hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nthati. Kore, I've enjoyed this episode so much, and I'm the one feeling emotional because I have a couple of friends that have depression and bipolar, and I know it's not easy supporting someone with bipolar. But as we continue to share the knowledge and the education, we hope more people can seek help and go for therapy. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you to our guests for watching the show. I see you in the next episode.